Trying to set up. Nugget's gonna have to move her bottom. I'm sorry, Queenie. I know you're not gonna like this. I know, baby girl. But you gotta move, because Mama needs to spot. You want me to take a window cover down in the front so you can see out the front? I will. Here. Look. Look what Mama did. Mama made a window for you. Look. Look, I did. Okay. This is... So I have this up with magnets and I just can slide them back and forth. Ow. So what I'm working on... This is Wyoming. This is part of. I'm not finished yet. This is the underpainting, the beginning of the underpainting. I am going to attempt some buffalo. It's going to be they're going to be a suggestion of buffalo. That's how I think it's going to roll. It's going to be a suggestion of buffalo. You know, I'm glad I have to let these things dry in between for a couple of reasons, but the biggest reason for the dry time is the color shift. So gouache, the lights dry darker, the darks dry lighter. And that's one reason why I like to work in layers, because that helps me. I can then alter things if need be. But also, that doing it in layers, I mentioned it before, with gouache reactivates. And one of the things that I've noticed in my years of conservation work was that gouache has a tendency to crack off its surfaces if it goes on too thick. Now, granted, part of that was old pigment, and we have Winsor Newton. I use Winsor Newton, and I think it's a great middle of the road. The designer gouache is meant for artists. I check the tubes for light fastness. I do my best to paint with single pigment colors. I'd love to mix all my colors. So I'm not like, I don't have to have every color in the series. But I do like to have different red choices, blue choices, yellow choices, right? I have ivory black. I almost never use it. I've occasionally used it, but I have fallen in love with perline black, which is just a really super duper dark green. When I need to change the color of the black so that it's not so green, I add a little red, I add a little blue, I add a little yellow. You know, I do what I can to kind of get it to that blackness that I want. Because most of the blacks that I'm dealing with aren't like, I'm not painting this. Blacks in nature aren't, except for, you know, like this little piece of obsidian that my friend gave me, right? And even that has different shades in it when the light hits it. So, you know, like it's got parts of it that look almost bluey colored. Some parts look greeny colored. If there was, I haven't seen it look red, but I've definitely seen the blue and the green in the obsidian. Yeah. So I like to mix my blacks. This painting is not going to have any blacks in it. This is the photograph I am working from. Bum, ba, bum, buffalo. Okay, so now at this point, I have put on another sky layer. What you're seeing here is a little shadow from the unevenness of the paper, but I think it shouldn't dry that uneven. It's just because of the way the paper's rippling. So I now must wait for that sky to fully dry before I can paint the foreground, the mountains that come across here on the horizon line, or not necessarily mountains, but sandstone formations and stuff. It's just really cool rock, you'll see. And then this is going to be that distant line, and then these grasses are going to be coming in, and then we're going to have maybe some buffalo shapes here. Yeah, so that's the goal. So I don't know if you can see what I did there. I went in and I have a damp brush. I'm gonna try to do this and not make too much of a mess because I don't want a water line. I am just carefully lifting some of that sky color to create the shape so that when I go in with my reds and my orangey reds, they will really be nice and orangey red. Yeah. These are all the little rises. So I have to be careful because you can already see here a teeny tiny bit of shedding. But this is the 180-pound Canson paper. So there's not much I can do about that. Except that it's going to happen occasionally. But yeah. Slowly but surely. Ta-da! As the paper dries, it pulls nice and tight. See, on the little ones, it works great, right? The tape. But on the big ones, as you see in some of my other videos, yeah, it doesn't work as easily. So you saw that on the little piece of paper, no cockle. On the big piece that I did, the South Carolina painting that is in the studio underweight right now, you can see the cockles forming the shadows. I'm hoping to get some of the cockles out. Alright, so here I'm at this point where I'm going to stop and take a break and have some lunch. It's a good time because I gotta let all that stuff dry and see where I need to go in and do some other stuff. Layers. Work my way into the foreground. And now, Nugget and I take a break in the desert. I found this old friend of Nugget's in the back, and she's in love again. We found that feather in North Carolina back in 2020, didn't we? When you were just a baby. I know. Oh. And this is my little desert find today. Aren't they pretty? I'm so in love with these. I cannot stop picking them up every time I see them. They make me super duper happy. So first we have this little beauty. I am gonna turn her over. Oh, there's like all sorts of stuff inside this one. And it's big. I'm not used to finding such, oh, pardon my thumb. Oh, yummy. I just didn't go far from the van either to do this. Which is so cool. This one, it's got like cool swirlies. Swirly. Right? Sorry, trying to get out of the way. And then on this side, we have crystals. Like super duper clear. Yum. This is a cool one. Also, another one with some cool looking crystals inside. And then we got these super duper yummy goodness. Now this one is like, wow. Look how cool that is. Yummy. And then this one is like got some yummy color going on in it. Needs more cleaning, I think, but I was like, ooh, looky right there. That's what I'm talking about. And this one, look at it. Yummy. Lumpy, bumpy goodness. This one I pick up because it's got this going on right here. Right there. Right? Just look at the patterns. I mean, I know it needs to be cleaned, but wow. Look at all the swirly. And there's even some like yummy translucence. Right? Oh gosh. Just wow. Yummy. Just a really good, yummy, solid piece of something. I don't know, semi-translucent. Right? It's got some interesting color to it. Oops. There we go. Yeah, interesting. And then this, I just don't know what it is, and I just kind of want to know. So if you know what this yellowy, looks like yellow ochre to me. That's why I was like, oh, should I be picking this up? Maybe I should be picking this up. Maybe I can make pigment out of it. So this is the setup I have going on right this minute. That's annoying me that my computer is doing that. I'll stop it. So my palette goes here on the table to my right. I have a selection of brushes there. I'm going to fill my water bucket. Yeah. So I have the light from the windows coming in. It's a good sunny day. But as soon as the light gets too bright on that side, it becomes glary and I have to close all this up. Yeah, so I better get to work. I added a little bit of texture up in here. I redefined this little grove of trees, which I'm still not sure I like. Now I got foreground stuff to do. And I gotta tell you, these guys are scaring the bejesus out of me. If you follow along, you know I don't really do wildlife, ever. I'm a landscape painter. I like just painting the landscape. I have a thing. I just don't like painting animals for whatever reason. Yes, maybe it's the perfectionist in me, because I want the animal to look like the actual animal. But I'm painting Wyoming. And I kind of feel like that includes the buffaloes. You know what I'm saying? And this is the layer that I am going to start with. You will notice quite a bit of camera jiggle because we've been having some big winds here in New Mexico. What you see me doing there is mixing the red browns that I'm using for the buffalo backs. I love mixing my pigments, as you heard me say earlier. And oftentimes I like doing it on the paper. These guys brought me so much like angst, and in the end, I had so much fun painting them. Again, sorry for the jiggle. Holy cow. All right, so this was Thermopolis, Wyoming, and it was the Hot Springs State Park, I believe, and it's free, so you can go in and drive around, and I believe even soak in the hot springs for free. I opted out of the hot springs. There were a lot of people there and a lot of kids, and I just felt, I always feel awkward. Too many people, I feel awkward, and I also, yeah, it's just too much for me sometimes. So that day, I decided to drive up. I saw the signs for the buffalo pasture, and I thought, you know what? I want to go check it out. Maybe for once I will get lucky and get some wildlife. Because I'll tell you, I've been on the road for quite some time, and it is rare that I get to see what I would consider to be unusual wildlife. Yeah. So that day, as I was driving through and around, and I was actually, thinking I was going to leave because I was kind of getting bummed out. I didn't think I was going to see anything. And as I was driving along, I thought what I saw was rocks in the distance. And then as I got a little closer, they started to take shape. And I was like, oh, buffalo! And I was just so excited. And when I came around the corner, there they were, a little herd. I think it is mostly, I think it was all females with babies together. I don't think I saw any male buffalo. They did decide that I was interfering and getting in their way, and started to turn toward the vehicle to protect their babies, right? And a moment here to thank all of my patrons on Patreon and contributors elsewhere. I truly appreciate you. Wouldn't have made it to Wyoming without you. I'm going back in one more time to throw in some more texture in that foreground. If you like today's video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I hope you consider doing so. And hit that notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put out a video. Yeah. Ugh. I'm so excited to have Wyoming down, and this painting ended up being such a good time. Plus, I did finally get another pair of reading glasses, as you can see, and that has definitely changed my life all over again. Yeah, there is nothing like being able to see. I really had a lot of fun painting the grasses in this foreground and getting just, I might have gone a little cray-cray, but I love all the color that I put into it, and it felt so good to be getting to finish one of these paintings. I have Oregon done and Wyoming down, and yeah, on to the next one after this. I am going to be working on a commission of the Oregon mountains in between before I move on to Montana. But yeah, I am so thrilled to finally have this little baby done. If you are interested in purchasing this painting or any of my paintings, please, below in the description, you'll find my Instagram. You can go there and message me, or you can also find my email below in the description, and you can email me. Please, in the subject box, put interested in a painting. I do only sell original paintings. I do not do NFTs. Yeah, I'm not in that world. So, yeah, that's that on that subject. I only sell my originals and then prints through fineartamerica.com right now. That may change in the future. However, that is not the case today. So those are the options below. Now this one I don't have an option for a print of yet. So only the original is for sale. It is $75. Yeah, not too bad. And that includes the shipping, so there. As long as you're in the contiguous United States. If you're interested in being a benefactor with a large amount, per the video I posted a couple weeks ago, as I am trying to move into a trailer, here's a great reveal. And yeah, so if you want to contribute so that I can do that, that means having a studio and living space all together for productivity's sake, because I am much more productive when I can live and work in the same space. Yeah. Please email me below if you're interested in being a benefactor. This project has probably another 5 years to go. And this is Wyoming. I still have 16 more states. See you next time. Bye-bye.